let's bring ourselves up to date on this story surrounding TalkTalk, the phone and broadband provider. The head of the company says she's now had an email demanding a ransom from a group or individual purporting to be behind the cyber attack that she says has been suffered by her company, which, when you boil it down, is about the personal and banking details of up to 4 million customers. We don't know how many affected, but it could be all of them. Up to 4 million customers may have had their details accessed in what's been described as a significant cyber attack. Let's talk to Carl Gottlieb, Technical Director at Cognition Secure Limited. Hi, Carl.
Hi, Sheila. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. On what scale do you think this cyber attack is? The company's having to take it very seriously.
The challenge we face with data breaches like these is that organizations such as TalkTalk will only take it seriously if there's a real financial penalty in play. And historically, if you look at any of the large organizations, especially in the US, that have been had big data breaches, their share prices go up. They're relatively little fined by regulating bodies, and they still retain customers. So from a business perspective, there's little incentive for organizations like TalkTalk to invest in lots of security controls to prevent this kind of thing from happening.
Until it happens to them.
Absolutely. But again, the question will be, what is the reason for TalkTalk to invest further? Because TalkTalk have already been breached and had several hacks happen over the last year. So clearly they've not learned their lesson. And the question will be, what will be the straw that breaks that camel's back that really makes them turn around and do something significant with yours and my data?
And without necessarily naming them, maybe keep that for another day, but are there companies that do it better, that do take the responsibility of securing our data, our details?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we work with many customers that are different ends of that spectrum, some very innovative, some investing a lot more than others. Ultimately, as an end customer, it's very hard to understand and work out when we're buying a service from the likes of TalkTalk how they'll protect our data. But there are certain measures and certain indicators you can get. So, for instance, how good is their customer service? How good are they at coming back to you? What is their reputation like? Rather than are they the cheapest provider around? And you'll often find that there's certain organizations out there that are constantly in the press for talking about security in a good way, maybe are a little more expensive, but do really value what their customers do, and their customer service is fantastic.
And are we seeing things like Which, the organization Which and other online advice? Are we seeing them increasingly giving advice for consumers about who is the more secure historically?
It's very limited, to be fair, and the reason for that is this kind of information is highly confidential. There's very few people, apart from the real insiders at senior management, that know how secure or insecure your data is. We know of many organizations, past and present, that have been in different stages of that, at different stages of disrepair, and we often go in to try and help them move to a good place.
Yeah, because you're right to talk about money being the bottom line, because as soon as a company realizes that consumers are going to be demanding better security and therefore going elsewhere if they don't feel they're getting it or can't prove that they're getting it, perhaps then people will wake up to it more, Carl.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The European Union has been discussing the sort of mandatory breach disclosure, so making organizations at least tell the customers or tell the press when the bad things happen. But also as part of that, there's going to be fines imposed. Now, this hasn't happened yet, but we may be a few years away. But the penalties being discussed are up to 100 million euros or up to 5% of your worldwide turnover for an organization. So in the case of TalkTalk, the potential penalty for this breach could have been up to 100 million euros if that had been in place right now. But what that means is if those penalties do come into play and the Information Commissioner's Office does really find TalkTalk very hard on this, then suddenly businesses now have an easier justification to get the funding to invest in security. And as you say, it's a business decision. If it doesn't make sense from a business perspective to protect their customers' data, they're not going to do it.
Carl, thank you. Good to talk to you. Carl Gottlieb, Technical Director.